What's up, guys? Dropping massive Alvin Kamara trade intel today. Is a blockbuster reunion with Sean Payton in Denver actually brewing? We're diving deep into a live Q&A, so smash that subscribe button right now. We are inches away from 100,000 subscribers. I can literally feel it. Drop a sub, help us crush that milestone today, and let's tear into this Kamara drama. But let me be crystal clear off the jump. I am absolutely not pushing to ship Alvin Kamara out. I want him staying right here. A scenario totally exists where Kamara and Achan dominate together, creating an absolutely lethal two-headed monster in that backfield. However, Adam Schefter dropped a bomb after New Orleans snagged Travis Achan. Just to be clear, it's Achan, not Etienne, as he strictly told the local press. Once New Orleans locked down that explosive new deal, massive alarm bells started ringing across the entire league about Kamara's future, and if the front office is secretly putting him on the trade block, rival front offices are actively circling like sharks right now. And if there is one single franchise absolutely starving to put Kamara in their colors, it is undeniably the Denver Broncos. Denver would absolutely kill for that elite level of backfield insurance. Their current rotation definitely has some fascinating upside, and I genuinely don't view the Broncos as a lost cause. Honestly, it looks like a phenomenal landing spot. Kamara and Sean Payton share an undeniable, rock-solid chemistry, built on years of incredible history together. Yet, the harsh reality is Kamara would literally hang up his cleats before wearing different colors. He's forcefully stated that exact point multiple times. So what's driving Denver to aggressively pursue this blockbuster? Simple. Sean Payton drafted the guy. The deep-rooted connection is already there. The mutual trust is off the charts. They've proven they can dominate the league together, and Denver holds enough loaded ammunition to execute a blockbuster trade instantly. They sit on an absolute mountain of elite draft capital to fuel a massive package. Plus, let's keep it entirely real. J.K. Dobbins is currently headlining their backfield, but the brutal reality is his dark injury history makes relying on his long-term health and weekly availability a pretty terrifying gamble. The man constantly misses crucial action, meaning Denver desperately needs a dynamic backfield upgrade, securing a heavy-hitting insurance policy the second their lead back inevitably goes down. I am certainly not suggesting they'd burn assets to bench him. He'd be out there creating absolute chaos right alongside J.K. Dobbins. Meanwhile, Achan confidently declared during his explosive introductory presser that splitting snaps with a legend like Kamara would be an absolute dream come true. The rookie openly admitted to shaping his entire explosive playstyle around Kamara's tape, heavily referencing the legendary Smash Mouth era when Deuce McAllister famously shared those grueling carries. His mentality was essentially, why turn down greatness? They could forge an absolutely terrifying, unstoppable two-headed monster out there on the gridiron together. The harsh truth is someone in that loaded Saints backfield is getting axed. Could be Kamara, maybe Kendre Miller, definitely not Devin Neal, or possibly even Audric Estime, but I firmly believe a dynamic universe exists where Achan and Kamara thrive side by side. Speaking of wild scenarios and sipping tropical drinks in stormy weather, we all know the brutal truth. Kamara flat out threatened to walk away from football forever before strapping up for a totally different franchise. Massive props to Lopez for photoshopping Kamara in that ridiculous Hawaiian button-up, by the way. That masterpiece is pure, unadulterated comedy gold. Look, the speculation is incredibly spicy, but when push comes to shove and the final chips are on the table, does he actually walk away? My instinct says yes, yet it genuinely wouldn't stun me if he suddenly shifted gears, deciding to chase a ring with Sean Payton after Denver basically knocked on the championship door last season. Why not take the shot? My insider, Trace Mustakis, and I sat down and mapped out what a blockbuster trade package might actually look like. Denver is completely loaded with expendable trade chips right now. If Payton genuinely views Kamara as his ultimate missing piece, New Orleans might just ruthlessly squeeze a lucrative fourth-round draft pick out of them. According to Trace's brutal intel, Denver might actually flip pick 108, the exact same selection previously dangled in that massive Devin Valey blockbuster swap. Snagging that specific asset back means the Saints would suddenly stockpile a staggering 3 separate fourth-round selections. That haul would be absolutely incredible. Honestly, commanding a pure fourth-rounder for Kamara sounds dangerously steep in today's market. But if New Orleans can actually finesse that kind of massive ransom, if Payton is desperate for his guy, Mickey Loomis better squeeze them dry. Just to reiterate one crucial point, I am definitely not claiming this master plan was my brainchild. I'm not entirely blaming Moose either. We just brainstormed the chaos, and he's the madman who confidently floated that wild fourth-round valuation. Not trying to throw my guy under the wheels, but hey, I totally will. So tell me, would you pull the trigger on this blockbuster? Saints faithful, Broncos Nation, light up the comments right now. Spam trade or pass? Looking at that massive return, you practically have to ship him off, right? Let's just face cold, hard facts. Passing up that insane pile of draft capital to stubbornly cling on to him would be an absolute failure of epic proportions. Seriously, we need to rip the Band-Aid off and look at reality. I adore Kamara, but declining that king's ransom would be a nearly impossible feat. Look, nobody truly knows if he's secretly itching for an exit or quietly dreaming of torching defenses in a completely different jersey. Whether he demands a massive trade remains a total mystery, so we'll just brace for the fallout. Regardless, shutting down a fourth-round steal is incredibly tough. You know what's impossible to turn down? Prize Picks. I lock in Prize Picks entries every single time a live game hits my screen. There is absolutely zero thrill like hitting the stadium, throwing serious cash on Prize Picks, and violently cashing out with cold, hard profit by the final whistle. The rush of Prize Picks is unmatched. I completely realize the football calendar is basically shut down right now, but there is massive cash waiting across the board. Basketball, baseball, hockey, UFC, soccer, college hoops, tennis, golf, esports, you name it, they've got it. With the monstrous March Madness tournament looming, they are dropping an insane arsenal of elite player projections for you to heavily exploit. You can dive headfirst into the Prize Picks madness today, fully legal across all 50 states, locking down massive strongholds like California, Texas, Florida, and Georgia. Plus, Prize Picks unleashes stacks, letting you ruthlessly multiply the same exact superstar up to 3 times on a single, massive ticket. Craving maximum thrills? Combine Curry's scoring explosions, deep bombs, and dazzling dimes into one single killer entry exclusively through Prize Picks. Plus, their epic season-long forecasts are pure fire right now. Off-season deep dives are my absolute jam. The anticipation for this upcoming Saints campaign has my blood pumping. Prepare for a massive league-wide earthquake. New Orleans will stun everyone. Mark my words, I will definitely gloat about this bold prediction later. Projecting Chris Olave under 5.5 touchdown grabs is an absolute insult. Hammer that over immediately. Attack the over for Tyler Shoaf's aerial assault. Meanwhile, lock in Bijan Robinson under 11.5 ground yards. Atlanta is totally bogus. I am slamming the under there without hesitation. Ride alongside my bold calls or bet against them completely. Honestly, your strategy is entirely up to you. Simply guarantee your action happens exclusively on Prize Picks. We secured an incredible promotion for our squad. Grab the application immediately and drop code CLNS. Drop a quick $5 entry to instantly unlock $50 in bonus funds. Just punch in CLNS for that epic $50 Prize Picks reward following your initial $5 gamble. Smash that URL down in the chat or check the bio below to launch your winning streak right now. Massive respect to Prize Picks, the ultimate spot for victorious predictions. Boom. Let us dive into listener questions. How does drafting an interior blocker at pick 8 sound? Specifically targeting that massive Penn State interior lineman, Vega Ewing. Mispronouncing these prospect titles is genuinely my ultimate curse. Keeping it entirely real with everyone, my film study on him is practically non-existent since drafting that position feels completely atrocious to me. Complete honesty here, burning the 8th overall selection on that spot is a massive nightmare. I could rattle off countless phenomenal playmakers I would snatch up before touching any interior trench warrior. Let us talk pure, electrifying reality here. Snagging dynamic beasts like Reuben Bain, Caleb Downs, Jordan Tyson, Sonny Styles, or Carnell Tate sounds infinitely better. Throw Makai Lemon and a miraculous Arvell Reese slide into that mix too. Boom, that makes 7 elite weapons I crave more. Add Jeremiah Love for 8. Holding that premium 8th draft slot demands greatness. That territory offers pure drafting luxury. Busting is practically impossible with the insane amount of superstar talent available. Literally every single alternate route leads to absolute glory. Wasting that premium capital on a guard would be a catastrophic blunder in my playbook. Just my blunt assessment though. Shifting gears, massive appreciation for Brandon. Huge props for dropping that premium donation, my friend. Brandon, you are an absolute legend. Question is, are we hunting for a fresh leg to kick for us? Let us talk Charlie Smythe. The kid has my full support and his journey is incredibly inspiring. Witnessing his ultimate triumph would be absolutely thrilling. Let me set the record straight right now. Demanding a fierce training camp battle does not mean my faith in Smythe has wavered even slightly. Igniting a heated rivalry could push him toward absolute perfection. Surviving that intense gauntlet would undeniably skyrocket his mental toughness to the moon. More importantly, fielding the most lethal, ice-cold weapon possible is vital for this franchise to dominate on special teams. Stripping away all sentimentality, Forcing a high-stakes showdown is just brilliant strategy. Grabbing an undrafted savage off the streets works perfectly. Alternatively, burning a sixth-round selection is totally viable. We possess an arsenal of thrilling paths to heavily upgrade that crucial kicking spot. Throwing a hungry challenger into the mix against Smith is genuinely a phenomenal tactic for our squad. Make no mistake, I am passionately cheering for his victory. The guy genuinely possesses pure frost in his veins whenever those terrifying pressure moments arrive. Watching him drill walk-off bombs is pure magic. However, forging the most terrifying special teams monster in the league remains my ultimate priority. Phil Galliano absolutely must elevate this squad. He already revolutionized our punting situation. Igniting a fierce kicking war this summer sounds like brilliant management. Boom! Mikey Taylor drops a $5 premium message. Who Dat Nation stands up. He asks if his fantasy draft board can get featured live on air. Listen up, Mikey. You are an absolute legend for firing off that $5 blast. Your wish is my command. Prepare for the breakdown. Time to unveil this spectacular master plan he just slid into my inbox. Brace yourselves. Let us attack the opening round, kicking off with Ohio State defensive weapon Caleb Downs. Snagging that incredible safety is phenomenal. Over to Lopez. My co-host has been relentlessly hyping that legendary Wipe Me Down selection for the 8th slot. Scoring Chris Bell at 42 is masterful. Plus, snagging Tyler Show at 73 is phenomenal. Arizona quarterback Trayden Stokes enters the chat, perfectly filling that massive Alante Taylor void. An absolutely brilliant fallback option. Next up, Kentucky trench monster Jalen Farmer. Then we grab Caden Curry, a highly disruptive pass-rushing nightmare from the Buckeyes. The value is simply off the charts. Snagging tight end Jack Andre at pick 150 is epic. Deontay Claiborne is a terrifying hidden gem, arguably my favorite steal globally. Finally, Utah tackling machine Lander Barton caps it off. Honestly, this theoretical class is straight fire. Keeping it entirely authentic, I am thoroughly impressed. Rating this masterpiece, I am confidently slapping an A- on it. Chat, sound off and evaluate Mikey's epic draft board right now. Scrolling through the live feedback, B+ are flooding in. Hovering around that elite B+ to A- tier is absolutely justified. Look who it is, our legendary Q&A segments are completely hollow without Jaden Barton dropping in. How do we feel about shipping off a 3rd and 4th round selection to instantly acquire the explosive Brian Thomas? Jump right into this debate, Lopez. Spoiler alert, from my side, packaging those 2 mid-round assets is absolutely nowhere near enough firepower to finalize that massive deal. Plus, dealing away precious capital for a veteran pass catcher simply kills my vibe. Finding a fresh collegiate stud early on draft night sounds infinitely more exhilarating. Frankly, targeting electric speedsters like Carnell Tate, scratching Jeremiah off, and pivoting toward Makai Lemon alongside Jordan Tyson is a beautifully realistic strategy. Expecting those phenoms to be available at number 8 is highly logical. However, my gut screams that their ultimate target is Louisville standout Chris Bell during the 2nd round. That feels like destiny. Executing that draft maneuver beats coughing up assets for Thomas any day. What is your hot take, Lopez? Honestly, snagging a youthful weapon like Brian Thomas Jr. could potentially sway my opinion. The guy has taken some brutal hits, but he brings actual pro experience. You absolutely skip those painful rookie growing pains with a proven warrior like him. We are obviously discussing Chris Bell here. Honestly, that devastating knee ligament tear leaves him looking like severely damaged goods. Brian Thomas is an absolute physical monster. Sure, his rookie debut in Jacksonville last season was tragically underwhelming, but the raw power is undeniably spectacular. That dangerous downward spiral might just continue, especially since they acquired Jacoby Myers and the electrifying Travis Hunter is finally returning. Listen, grabbing Brian Thomas Jr. would inject pure explosive energy into this roster. If New Orleans pulls off that blockbuster trade, I am passionately celebrating. However, if I am the general manager, trading for Brian Thomas Jr. is totally off my radar. Plus, Jacksonville probably refuses to part ways with him anyway. He is a lethal weapon in their scheme. Offering a 3rd and 4th rounder simply will not cut it, though stealing him that cheap would be legendary. Pulling off that heist provides astronomical value. Seriously, uniting Chris Bell and Brian Thomas Jr. on the exact same squad sounds terrifyingly dominant. So let us risk it all. Jaden, spectacular question. Jerry G, you are up next, my friend. Since snagging Travis Hunter, will New Orleans aggressively hunt down Jeremiah Love or target a defensive powerhouse at pick number 8? Let me hit you with the brutal truth. When that monumental 8th overall pick arrives, New Orleans will ruthlessly snatch up the absolute best talent left standing. Whichever absolute game changer tops their masterboard when the chaos settles is getting drafted. Believe me, Jeremiah Love remains fiercely alive in this high-stakes battle. Caleb Downs remains a massive, looming threat in these talks. Sonny Styles is absolutely a prime contender too. Ruben Bain commands heavy consideration. Those elite wideouts we just hyped up, Jordan Tyson, Mekhi Lemon, and Carnell Tate, are fiercely fighting for that exact spot. Lopez, are you still desperately craving Jeremiah Love? Honestly, New Orleans and Kansas City completely exposed their true battle plans during that wild free agency frenzy. Exactly. Those front offices are terrified. Jeremiah Love vanishes before pick 89. That sheer panic is exactly why they desperately lock down explosive weapons like Alvin Kamara and Kenneth Walker. That is a fascinating revelation. They are completely paralyzed by the fear of entirely missing out on those top-tier phenomenal athletes. Absolutely brilliant observation right there. New Orleans and Kansas City are both undeniably on a ruthless collision course to secure dominant running backs. Both of those powerhouse franchises have been fiercely connected to Jeremiah Love throughout this entire chaotic, rumor-filled pre-draft war. Truthfully, those executives are downright cynical about Jeremiah Love dropping that far. That brutal reality forced them to aggressively attack the running back market early. Countless recent projections aggressively slot him right at number 4 to Tennessee. Whenever he survives that gauntlet, Washington consistently swoops in to steal him. Honestly, him plunging to 8 or 9 feels practically impossible now. I am not declaring the fantasy totally destroyed, but that dream has suffered a truly devastating blow. Ultimately, everything hinges on his mysterious availability at 8. Regardless of who survives the massacre, they must ruthlessly secure their absolute top-ranked superstar. I will celebrate passionately, provided they do not waste this golden opportunity on some boring interior blocker or any offensive lineman whatsoever. Jerry G just exploded in the comments yelling, "I despise artificial intelligence, but this ridiculously crisp avatar is fire." All right, Queen Courtney, let us drag you into this intense debate. Who is your ultimate weapon at pick 8? Downs, Tate, Styles, Bain, Bailey, or Falk? Then round 2. Do we target the phenomenal Keldrick Falk, a monstrous interior force or defensive edge from Auburn? I almost predicted an offensive trench warrior, but Queen Courtney passionately loves those ferocious Auburn beasts. She relentlessly campaigns for stealing Keldrick Falk in round 2. Personally, I ignore his massive hype train. Beefing up the defensive interior simply lacks that absolute critical urgency compared to other blazing weaknesses. Craving a violent upgrade in the trenches makes total sense, but facing a legendary board of Downs, Tate, Styles, Bain, and Bailey, passing on the destructive force of Ruben Bain is agonizingly difficult. Ignoring Caleb Downs is practically a crime. If this elite talent pool remains, I am pulling the trigger on Caleb Downs immediately. David Bailey presents another lethal alternative, but in this high-pressure war room, I am locking in Caleb Downs. Lopez, what is your ultimate strike? I absolutely board that unstoppable Caleb Downs hype train with you. That spectacular choice perfectly ignites our next massive debate. Harrison Courtney, we profoundly appreciate you dropping this explosive question. Quick pivot. Did that terrifying Caleb Downs injury rumor strike fear into your heart? Honestly, no. I hesitate to call these reports outright fabricated lies, but this is draft season, an absolute war zone of deceptive smokescreens. Ruthless teams invent chaos, hoping a superstar plummets right into their laps. The kid himself swore he is perfectly bulletproof. Seriously, his collegiate medical record was flawlessly clean. He survived the brutal college trenches without catastrophic injuries, and now suddenly his knee ligaments are magically shredding. The entire narrative reeks of dark, manipulative draft magic. It totally sounds maliciously planted. I fiercely refuse to buy into this sketchy, unsubstantiated league chatter. I am genuinely 0% panicked. Even in the worst-case scenario where he misses a few opening battles, I am completely unfazed by that extremely minor setback. This phenomenal gladiator is destined to thoroughly dominate the National Football League for a terrifyingly long time. His raw talent is unreal. The whole ordeal does not rattle my cage even slightly. Foster, massive shout out to you for the legendary input and that brilliantly fiery question. Stay absolutely legendary, everyone. Thank you so much for crashing our wild mock draft simulation and diving into explosive trade rumors. Smash that subscribe button if you crave more electrifying content.